So, I don't know if anybody recently has had dealings with their bank. It's a misery whenever you try and do it. In my experience, if your life is in any way slightly irregular, it's I find banks, um, insurance, and healthcare are a nightmare. And one of the cruelest ironies of modern corporate compliance is that Ukrainians, the very people resisting invasion, are sometimes treated as if they were the aggressors. Banking, payments, online services, sectors that brand themselves as global, borderless, and safe, have instead created invisible borders that mirror Vladimir Putin's sham maps. And the West sanctions regime after 2022 was designed to isolate Russia, Belarus, and those facilitating the invasion. In theory, Ukraine should have been unaffected. In practice, the overzealous corporate compliance teams have implemented blanket bans on entire oblasts simply because Putin claims them, regardless of whether those territories remain under Ukrainian control or not. Revolut and Wise are two British fintech flagships that have cut off customers in parts of Donetsk, Zaporizhia, and Kherson, even where Ukrainian forces are firmly in control. Other global platforms, Airbnb, Spotify.com, Booking.com, Duolingo, TikTok, eBay, Facebook ads have all done the same. It's not sanctions law faithfully applied, is it? It's lazy compliance punishing legitimate customers because companies, these big companies, cannot be bothered to create more precise filters. The computer says no. For residents in eastern Ukraine, these services are more than nice to have. They are the link to receiving remittances from relatives abroad, storing funds in stable currencies, processing business transactions in wartime, and the if you live near the front line, the ability to hold euros or pounds can be the difference between survival and collapse. And Kramatorsk, 20 miles from the front, is still Ukrainian. Nikolai Kucheruk, a local ISP owner, keeps 15,000 homes and businesses connected despite shelling. And he argues that it's technically simple to whitelist Ukrainian IP ranges and blacklist only Russian-controlled nodes, yet companies refuse to try, citing sanctions that do not apply to Ukraine. This isn't law, it's corporate inertia or stupidity. Revolut, with over 700,000 Ukrainian clients, even released a special Clear Sky debit card in Ukraine's colours to raise money for refugees, while simultaneously blocking legitimate Ukrainian users in contested oblasts. They boast of raising over 1 billion euros in transfers to Ukraine, but ask residents in Kramatorsk if they can pay for Spotify, book an Airbnb, or send a Revolut transfer, and the answer is often no. And the Ukrainian National Bank, the NBU, is also tangled with Revolut, insisting it needs a local banking license to fully operate in Ukraine. And Revolut counters that it's offering EU-based accounts cross-border. And this dispute is legally separate from the global blockages, from the geographic blockages, but for customers it all feels like the same closed door. The result, Ukrainian customers are doubly unprotected by British banking regulation abroad and by the absence of Ukrainian customer protections at home. It's not unique to Ukraine. History shows that blunt instrument sanctions from Cuba in the 1960s to Iran in the 2010s often harm ordinary people in non-target states because companies overcomply to avoid fines. The corporate risk departments act as de facto foreign ministries, redrawing maps and deciding who counts as a customer. In Ukraine, that means Western firms are in effect enforcing Putin's cartography. Small business owners lose revenue, residents lose access to cultural life, streaming, learning platforms, aid workers and journalists lose easy, secure payment channels, and refugees who move between regions risk sudden account freezes. In war, disruption is already constant. When your bank, your insurer, your platform blocks you, it's a self-inflicted wound by your allies. And the UK prides itself on being an ally to Ukraine, but when British firms treat Ukrainians as collateral damage, that commitment rings hollow, doesn't it? The moral claim of supporting Ukraine must extend beyond speeches in Westminster to the policies of UK-based companies. International must mean more than comply with the safest legal reading. It must mean committed to serving legitimate customers even in hard places. And this is the test of whether our values can survive the spreadsheet logic of risk departments. It's entirely possible to comply with sanctions law and serve Ukrainians in Ukrainian-controlled territories. Google has shown it can be done. Others simply lack the will. If we truly believe in Ukrainian sovereignty, we cannot allow banks, and platforms to be the quiet accomplices of annexation, to be the quiet accomplices of Mr. Putin. I'm so shocked, so shocked. Banks need to pull up their socks, tighten their belts, and get on with serving the customer.